Man is back.
Oh, okay, Jay, boys, done it again. Oh my gosh, the man got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered.
This is your boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And I am back with another Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. Yes, so I mentioned this a while back that ever since I came back from a hiatus, I've been doing nothing but talking about, the latest news that's been going on in the world. But at some point in time, I was going to do a top 10 list. Now, this is not me resuming my top 10 TV shows of all time and things of that nature. No, that would be for another time. Instead, I'm going to be looking at anime. So, yes, that's what I'm looking at in this video, anime. So, basically, what I'm looking at here is my top 10 anime that I wish had at least one more season. So, yeah, these are, for the most part, anime shows that are either basically done, but they still either have unfinished business or they could have kept going. So yeah, there's some honorable mentions, but really the top 10 is really like, they could have kept going, or there was some cliffhangers that was, for the most part, looking at all the animes on my top 10, with the exception of one, all of them have cliffhangers. Well, really, no, I take that back. With the exception of 2, all of them have cliffhangers. Like, with the exception of 2, all of them have cliffhangers. And then, of course, there's a number of honorable mentions. Now, keep in mind that, spoiler alert. So, spoiler alert, spoilers will be revealed in this top 10 list. So, I will reveal, for the most part, what happened at the end of most, if not all of these animes. So, there you go with that. Let's get things going with number 10, Kenichi. So, Kenichi, okay, if you heard of High School DxD, not High School of the Dead, there's a difference between High School of the Dead and High School DxD. So, if you are familiar with High School DxD, that's basically Kenichi in a nutshell for the most part. Although the story is different, but the setup is the same. Basically, you have this one guy who is a pervert surrounded by a bunch of girls who can all fight. And he can fight too, but you get the point. And they all go to school together. There you go. Now, obviously, there's some differences here between Kenichi High School DxD. One of the differences is that High School DxD it's kept going. Now, obviously, they just got done with season 4, if memory serves me correctly, and more than likely they're gonna come out with a season 5 because season 4 ended on the cliffhanger. So there you go with that. Now, when it comes to Kenichi, they only came out with 2 seasons. The last episode was back in 2014. And here's the deal with Kenichi. Season 1 was on point. Like, season 1 was really, really great. The animation was on point. The story was on point because you got the main character who is Takeru Oyama. So here's the deal. So like I said, he's fight. Obviously, his mother was a fight as well. But somebody killed his mom. And he had his childhood friend who also not only does she go to the same school that he's attending, that he just attended, because originally it was an all-girls school, but it recently became a co-ed school. So all the guys are first years? Yeah, first year students. So his childhood friend is a second year student at this school. But again, you got Takeru. So again, he got his childhood friend who goes to the same school. His mother died when he was really young. No, she was murdered by somebody. I don't remember who. His childhood friend was a part of that. And then you got this other chick there who claimed, Takeru made a promise with her saying that they were going to get married. So basically she was saying, oh, that's my husband, things like that, blah, blah, blah. Then you got this other chick who was a 2-year student the one with, like I said, the majority of these chicks on this show all have boobs for the most part. There's some that don't. This chick right here don't, but she got some thighs. It's crazy. But she got pigtails, but yet she look at Takeru and there's a connection between him and her brother because of a mark that he have on him. I forgot what the mark is, but there's a mark that he have on him on his body somewhere. No, not on his nuts or anything like that, but it's a mark that he have on him. that reminds her of her brother. So there's that. Like, there's a bunch of cliffhangers here, and then there's an evil organization. Not to mention, there's like 3 to 4 girls who have a crush on this guy. So obviously, you got the childhood friend. You got the chick who claimed that he is her husband. You got the pigtails because she's trying to figure out what his connection is with her brother. She ended up crushing on him, although she won't admit that. And then there's this other chick who is actually a pop star idol, but she can fight as well, but she have a crush on him as well, and that's obvious as well. So, who did he choose at the end? What happened to this but what happened to the organization, this evil organization that tried to take over the school? And who killed his father? And what's the connection between him and this girl's brother? Like, and how did this promise between him and this other chick happen where they was going to get married? Like, there's so much that was left unanswered since season 1. So you're probably thinking, wait a minute, there was 2 seasons, so none of those answered? No. Season 2 was really a bunch of random episodes. The animation quality went down a bit, and the story of season 2 made no sense. Again, it was basically a filler season, but nothing came of this show ever since season 2. And I'm like, that's disappointing because, like I said, season 1 was on point. Like, if you ever watch Kenichi, just watch season 1. That's it. Do not, like, there was some fun and good episodes in season 2. But really, if you want a good story, season 1, Kenichi, that's really it. And with a bunch of cliffhangers that got us hanging there, they could have came out with another season or a movie. And well, they're going to need more than a movie to explain all of these cliffhangers. They need a few more seasons, actually, to come out with, well, to explain all these cliffhangers. But man, it's a shame really that they're not continuing with this series, because this was a good series, season 1 at least. Let's move on to number 9, when supernatural battles became commonplace. Okay, so this joint is interesting. So the story focuses on Senko's High School's literature club, whose 5 members all have somehow developed superpowers. The superpowers have now become a part of their everyday lives as they battle against others wielding superpowers. So the last episode was in 2014, and how it ended was on a cliffhanger, because, and this is another case of where you got one guy surrounded by a bunch of girls who all have a crush on him. Most of them not willing to admit it. So, and here's the deal, and again, there's a bunch of cliffhangers here, because again, well, no, I ain't gonna say again, but in this case, it's different because I believe, if memory serves me correctly, it's been a minute since I've seen this. You got fairies here, if memory serves me correctly. I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, fairy. Yeah, there's a fairy here that gave everybody these powers, and they trying to create a fairy war. And you got this organization that want to take part in the fairy war, that want the fairy war to happen, but then there's other people out there who don't want the fairy war to happen. And our main characters here are unfamiliar. They are they have no clue about the fairies, about the fact that the fairies gave them the powers, and about the fairy wars. And in fact, one of these characters, I believe is Tomoyo, I think that's her name. Yeah, her other brother is the leader of the organization who wants to have the fairy war, and he got powers too. So there's a lot going on here. So again, who did he hook up with? Will they find out about the fairy war and the fairies, and the fact that Tomoyo's older brother had powers and he's trying to get the fairy war going? None of that is talked about in the show. And there was only 1 season, obviously, but there's no signs of another season to explain it. Obviously, there's a manga and a light novel. So obviously, and a light novel ended last year. The manga ended in 2015. So I'm pretty sure, you know, the manga and the light novel cover all of that. But the anime, which is what we're focusing on, haven't even scratched the surface of that. So there's that. And this is a show that I wouldn't mind watching, like, to see how it ends and things of that nature. All right, so with that said, let's move on now to number 8, The Krasser Stigmata. This one is very interesting. So this is another one of them joints where you got a bunch of girls with boobs, and the main character is not just a guy, but he's somewhat of a little kid. So here's the deal with this one. So basically, the story chronicles the school lives of Mafuyu Oribe and Tomo Yamanobe at the Japanese Eastern Orthodox School. Oh, I'm not going to pronounce the name of the academy, where they have endured persecution and isolation from other students led by the daughter of the current dean, Miyuri I'm not gonna pronounce her last name, and her second in command, rather, Hana Katsuragi, who is a freak, by the way. But anywho, Mafuyu and Tomo's lives take a drastic turn when they nurse the silver-headed Russian-born Alexander Shasha, I'm not going to pronounce his last name, back to help upon encountering him unconscious during their home commute one day. Almost immediately, Shasha, that's his nickname, rather, begins to repay the two girls' kindness as he repels their tormentors. However, this does not change Sasha's background as a throwaway crazer from the Adepts, and the Adepts have no qualms about making an absolute war zone of the Academy in order to acquire the Theotokos. Oh gosh, these names. Sharisans from Arthos, who wishes to keep the icon's existence a secret from the world. So yeah, it basically is another one. So basically this was weird because Shasha he obviously is one of these individuals that have these powers, and it's weird because how they like rejuvenate their powers is by sucking them girls' titties. I crap you not. I crap you not. That's how this anime is. But it's good. It's good. It's got a very good story. The problem is the last episode was shown in 2011. The problem is it ended on a major cliffhanger because a major war was about to break out, and I'm like, oh man, it's about to go down. If there was ever time to use that Kevin Hart meme, this would be it right here, dog. It was about to go down, but yet it just ended. Like that was it, and I was like, what the heck? How you gonna end it like that? Like you can't end it like that and not come out with another season or something or a movie. If you didn't want to come out with another 12 episodes or so, or 24 episodes in this case, a movie would have been suffice. But the manga continued on until 2016. So obviously you got the ending there, but again we focus on anime. So yeah, that was crazy, man, how this joint ended. It was out of control, man. I'm like, they're so messed up for them to end it like that. All right, let's move on to the next anime on the list, which is number 7, Psyche Ray. I probably pronounced that wrong, but yeah. So yeah, here's the thing with this one. So this one is going to be hard to explain, but I'm gonna try my best. In Tokyo, known as Sento Taito, in 2020, which is a year from now, by the way, a 19-year-old Mihato Sahashi is extremely intelligent, yet due to his inability to cope under pressure, has failed the college entry exam twice. One day, Minato meets a girl named Musubi, who literally falls from the sky. Minato soon learns that she is a Psyche Ray and chooses him as her Ashikapi. I probably butchered that name wrong, but whatever. One of the mysterious sets of humans that have the genetic trait and can make a contract by kissing the Psyche Ray. This binds the Psyche Ray to him and allows them to use their full powers in elimination battles with other Psyche Ray. Made up of 108 cute girls, attractive, buxom women, and Bishonen, the Psyche Ray fights in a competition known as the Psyche Ray Plan, organized by Hiroto Minaka, the chairman and founder of the mysterious and powerful MBI Corporation. Minato quickly learns that being the partner of a Psyche Ray is not all fun and games, especially when several other Psyche Ray chooses him as their Ashikapi, each also forming a contract with him by kissing. Now Minato must find a way to survive both the life-threatening battles of the Psyche Ray Plan and his partner's fierce competition for him. So basically you got another harem scenario, but here's the deal. So you got this one guy who how many do he have? Oh gosh, I don't know how many he have. He got a bunch of Psyche Ray. Remember, he got I think he got 5. No, he got 6. Yeah, he got 6. And they left. Oh man, I don't remember where they left off, because they left off with one of the strongest Psyche Ray losing a battle against his Psyche Ray squad, basically. Now, basically, imagine this. If you've seen Dragon Ball Super, dub or sub, then you are familiar with the Tournament of Power. That's basically what this is. The Tournament of Power. The only exception is you got the fighters and basically their managers. The managers are the Ashikabi. who are humans with unique genes that enable them to empower the psyche ray, aka the fighters, destined to sub them. So basically, there you go. And the deal is, if memory serves me correctly, if a Ashibaki dies, all psyche ray that is under that Ashibaki control will also perish. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So, and then the final stage, they in the anime they was not on the final stage. I know in the manga they were, but I didn't see how it ends. And actually, there's 4 stages within the psyche ray plan. So the first stage is this: the psyche ray are adjusted and released in Tokyo. Thereafter, they must find Ashikapi rather, for ringing. This stage ends when 90% of the psyche ray are ringed, basically are under the control of the Ashikabi. The second stage is when Tokyo becomes a closed city and no psyche ray or Ashikabi can leave. The Ashikabi must then ring the remaining unringed psyche ray, and every Ashikabi in the psyche ray must defeat at least one psyche ray. The third stage, a series of battle royales between Ashibaki for possession of the Junki. I have no clue what that is. I don't remember what that is. Only the Ashikabi who secure at least one of the Junki until the end of the stage are eligible to advance, which brings us to the final stage. And if memory serves me correctly, I think the anime left off on the second stage. I could be wrong with that. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I mean, the anime was going until 2010, so that's almost 10 years from now. So, or 10 years ago rather. So you get the point. Now the final stage, the remaining Ashikabi are brought with their psyche ray to Kamikura Island and must fight among each other for the rights to ascend to the Heavenly Palace and fight the pillar for the prize of rating the ultimate winner of the psyche ray fight. So yeah, I remember reading a summary of the manga and they were at that point, but I didn't read the end. I needed to check that out and see. So again, this is another one of the joints where I'm like, dog, I want to see what happens at the end, because I think only one psyche ray can remain, and you got the main character with like 5 or 6 of them. That means some of his psyche ray are going to die, and one of them is like a little girl too. So I'm like, man, what's going to happen here? It's crazy, but we don't know with the anime. The manga ended in 2015, so we probably got answers there, obviously, but still though, I would like to know what happens in anime form. All right, let's move on to number 6. Kenichi, the mightiest disciple. Okay, so a few of you may remember Kenichi, and this one was a good show. Now, here's the deal with Kenichi. So basically, the story focuses on, obviously, Kenichi Shirahama, who is a 15-year-old high school student and a longtime victim of bullying. At the beginning of the story, he befriends transfer student Miyu Furenji, who is like, man, if you've seen her, wow, and desires to be stronger. He followed her to Ryozenpaku, a dojo housing several masters of diverse martial arts, led by her grandfather, Hayato Furenji. After learning the basics from Miyu, Kenichi overcomes a high-ranking member of the school's karate club and becomes a target for all the delinquents in the school. While initially training to protect himself, Kenichi eventually becomes a full disciple of Ryozenpaku and becomes enamored of Miyu. Basically, he have a crush on her. Subsequently, Kenichi's daily routines are divided between training under the 6 masters and his fights against the members of Ragnarok, a gang of bullies trying alternately to recruit or to vanquish him. After Ragnarok is disbanded, Kenichi and Miyu are targeted by Omi, a group of disciples personally trained by a master of a organization rivaling Ryozenpaku. Yami, wow, okay, so yeah, so basically you got Yami, and then you got their children group, Yomi. So there you go with that. And while the masters and their allies follow the principles of always sparing their opponents' lives, the members of Yami believe that any means of defeating an opponent is valid, including killing. In the struggle between the two factions, Kenichi, Miyu, and their allies fight the members of Yami, while his masters confront the members of Yami. The conflict between the two factions culminate with the final battle to stop Yami's main objective, which is to usher a new era of chaos and warfare in the world, also known as the Eternal Sunset. Once the Eternal Sunset is prevented and the main leader is defeated, Yami and Yami are disbanded as well. Okay, now at this point, we didn't get to this point in anime. So I might as well just stop right there. We did not get to this point in the anime right there. Because apparently there was some tournament that was going to take place involving all 4 of these groups. So we talking, again, Yami and the younger group, Yomi. And then you got the masters of Ryo Zanpaku. And then you got Kenichi and his squad. So Kenichi got a squad of high schoolers or teenagers that, you know, he rolled with and things of that nature, going up against Yomi, I believe. Yeah, Yomi. So, and that's in the OVA version. But prior to that, we had the whole Ragnarok business, which was like originally 50 episodes. So that's like the animated show. And then there was the OVA that had 11 episodes. And we last saw that ending with our heroes arriving on some island to take part in the tournament to go against Yami and Yomi, if memory serves me correctly. And then we never know what happened after that. Like, we don't know what happened after that. And I kind of wish we did. Now, the manga is done. And I know how it ends. And there was more stories. There was more arcs that followed this one. But the problem is, again, the anime just stopped right there. And I wish they could have kept going with it. In fact, look, Funimation don't even cover the show anymore. Like, they don't even cover the show anymore, unfortunately. So they let that contract expire. So you gotta, like, if you want to watch this show for yourself, I think they dubbed it. Yeah, they did dub it. You have to look for it online, unfortunately. All right, so with that out the way, let's move on to number 5, To Love Ru. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite animes right here, man. So this is another harem joint right here. So basically, the story of To Love Ru. Now, there's a bunch of shows within this franchise, but let me go with the plot real quick. The story revolves around Rito Yuki, a shy and clumsy high school student who cannot confess his love to the girl of his dreams, Haruna Serenji. One day, when soaking in the bathtub, a mysterious naked devil-tailed girl appears out of nowhere. Her name is Lala, the runaway crown princess of the planet Debeluk. I probably pronounced that wrong, but whatever. Her father wants her to return home to marry one of her marriage candidates. When his commander Zasen arrives to bring her home, she swiftly declares she will marry Rito in order to stay on Earth, leading Zasen to attack Riko. But when Riko angrily declares that marriage is only possible with the person you love, the two dull-witted aliens misunderstand him, believing he truly understands Lala's feelings. Lala quickly falls in love with him, and Zasen also approves of their engagement, much to Rito's dismay. While Zasen reports his support of the pair to her father, the king, not just Debeluk, but much more of the known universe, Rito reluctantly helps Lala transition into life on Earth, while gradually befriending his dream girl, Haruna, along with a colorful cast of other girls, both humans and aliens. In the meantime, Rito must also fight off Lala's antagonistic alien suitors, one of whom sent the alien assassin Golden Darkness, also known as Yami, to kill him. So basically, and then the story continues on in To Love Ru Darkness, which focuses on Lala's little sisters, Momo and her twin Nana. So basically, they came to live with Lala in Rito's house. While Rito remains indecisive between his longtime crush on Haruna and his growing affection for Lala, Momo has also fallen in love with Rito, but not wanting to steal Rito away from his sister, Momo instead plots to build a harem of girls around Rito. Yes, hoping that if Rito marries Lala and becomes the new king of Debeluk, he can legally marry every girl who is in love with him, including Momo herself. And Haruna, by the way. While Momo works in the background and plays matchmaker with Rito, a number of beautiful girls gradually enter Rito's life and warm up to his kindness, including Golden Darkness, who has since lived peacefully on Earth but struggles to escape her dark past. Thus, Rito's otherworldly love troubles continue on forever. So there's like 4 shows that cover this whole franchise. So obviously you got the main show, To Love Ru, and then you got the second show, which is Moto To Love Ru, and then after that you got To Love Ru Darkness, and then you got To Love Ru Darkness 2, or second, excuse me. And now after that, they've been showing OVA episodes To Love Ru Darkness 2nd, and the last one we've seen was in 2017. So a lot's been going on with this series. And again, even though they got through the whole darkness scenario, again, the story still continues because we don't know what's going to happen. Will Rito try to hook up with Haruna? Will he go with the Harem Project? Or will he pick Lala? Like, we don't know what's going to happen and what else going to come their way. Because, you know, even though it's like a slice of life, it's a harem show, but it's also action-packed as well. You know, a bit of science fiction as well. So there's that. Like, a lot could happen here. And the manga ended in 2009. And the To Love with Darkness manga ended in 2007 as well. And I believe that's it. Yeah, that's it in terms of the manga. But yeah, a lot can happen. A lot can happen. I don't know what happens at the end here, but they could certainly add more here. And it would not surprise me if they do add more to this one. All right, but it's been a minute since they add anything to this series, so I was hoping that they could add more. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4, Heaven's Lost Property. So, Heaven's Lost Property. So this is another show that is focused on the harem, but it's also action-packed. So here's the deal. So you got Tomoki Sakurai, who is a perverted teenage boy whose motto is peace and quiet are the best, which is kind of hypocritical since he's a pervert, but whatever. Often have dreams of meeting an angel. He finds it difficult to live in comfort when he has to put up with Sahara Mitsuki, his next door neighbor, with a killer karate chop. Ishiro Shigata, an eccentric scientist bent on discovering the new world, quote unquote, and Mikako Sakushi. Oh, I'm gonna pronounce Mikako. Let's just stick with her first name. Their school's sadistic student council president. One night, while he was witnessing a strange anomaly in the sky, a UMA, unidentified mysterious animal, crash landed nearby. Tomoki discovers that what fell from the sky is a winged female humanoid named Icarus from an unknown world of Synopsis, who soon declared herself to be Tomoki's servant. From then on, more creatures known as androids arrive. With this, he lost his peace and quiet, but at the same time finds pleasant things the android brings him and fight the forces that fall upon Earth. So, obviously, there's, if memory serves correctly, 2 seasons of this joint and 2 movies. So, the first movie, I'm not sure if you can call that canon or not. I have no clue. I'm going to go on the record and say that it is canon. The second movie is definitely canon because it's focused on the end. Like, you know, Heaven Lost Property is also known as Sora no Otoshimono. So the second movie is called Sora no Otoshimono Final, Eternal My Master. And it ended with basically just about everybody's dying and Earth disappearing. And the only way Tomoki is saved is by Icarus taking him to the Synopsis. But in the process of doing that, she burns up. So when he got there, she dies. And it just ends like that. The movie did. So I'm thinking to myself, there's another movie. And I know how this ends. I actually read the manga, you know, not from start to finish, but I just read like the last final chapters. So I know how this ends. And the movie is geared towards that. But again, they need to finish it off. Like, they can't end it like that with everybody dying and Tomoki arrives at the Synopsis and that's it. Like, no, it got to continue. It got to finish it off. Like, another movie. A third movie must drop unless they're going to say, you know what, we're going to end it with the video games. I mean, because they do have some video games that came out. Although, the last video game came out in 2010, and the second movie came out. I don't remember exactly when the second movie came out. Oh, never mind, 2014. So nothing came out after that. So I'm like, y'all got to finish this series. I can't leave it on the cliffhanger like that. Again, even though I got to do is just read the manga and boom, you get your answers, but still, you can't do that. Like, you just can't do that. That is blasphemous, in my opinion. So let's go do it right there. So next week, we're going to cover my top 3 animes that I think should get one more season and all the honorable mentions that could have made the list but ultimately didn't. So I'm going to end it right here. The reason why I'm cutting it off right here because this was a long recording. So I'm going to split this into 2 parts. So yeah, with that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jake Aspie, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.